Hello, and welcome to the Earthly Roots podcast,
where we chat all things gardening, homesteading, and connecting to nature.
We're your hosts, Diane and Robyn.
The Earthly Roots podcast acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. All right, welcome back to another episode.
Hello.
We are back today with a really, really exciting one, in my opinion. But before we get into it, we wanted to just say thank you to everyone again for all of the amazing support that we've had on Instagram, and we've now been getting a few reviews on Apple Podcasts and other podcasting apps, which is so exciting to see.
Yeah, and we've reached a massive milestone on our YouTube channel as well with 100 subscribers. I remember with our own channel, it took us a year and a half. So it's so encouraging and heartwarming to just see the community that we're building through our podcast.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So we do have a couple of reviews, which we're so excited for. So we thought we would start with just reading some of them out, saying thank you to Elaine and My Lady Carol, because we so appreciate the love and support, and hearing from you guys makes us feel like there really is a person on the other side of our conversation. We're not just having a conversation between us. It is wider and bigger than just two people, and that's really cool.
Yeah, because that was the goal for this as well. It wasn't just for us to come together and have a chat, but it was to share our conversations and hopefully engage with other people, because we can get so much more out of speaking on a podcast than we do on our YouTube channels and Instagram.
Agree. We can really open up and
definitely
share a lot more than we normally would, but also encourage each other to share more too, because naturally when you just talk by yourself to a camera, like there's only so much that you think of saying. When you have that other person there or other people there in the community, it really encourages you to share a lot more.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'll read the first one. This one is actually from a while back, and it seems like we've only just discovered it. We finally worked out how to work our reviews.
Yeah, trying to find them all.
In different places. So this one is from Elaine B, and thank you so much, Elaine, for your support. So Elaine says, it's great to have some Aussies and a great chat. Looking forward to hearing both of your knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah, that's so nice. Thank you so much for your support. I noticed we've also been getting some ratings as well. So if you don't feel like commenting or leaving a review, which is totally fine, like I get that, you can also just rate the podcast on what you think you would like to rate it. So we've had like 6 ratings on Apple Podcasts, all 5 out of 5. So thank you so much. The other one, comment and review was from My Lady Carol, who sent just a beautiful, beautiful review. And I'll share a little bit. She said, they said, when I bought my property a year ago to finally start my homestead, which congratulations, I searched for Aussie homesteading vlogs and podcasts, and I needed all the help and ideas I could find. After all, I found both of your vlogs at the same time, which is great.
How funny is that?
Yeah. And I think I maybe realised you were relatively near to each other before you did. She's about 4 hours north. It's exciting, and hoped that we'd get together. So we did.
There you go.
And now you're sharing a podcast with the world. She's so thrilled that we're sharing our journeys, which we are as well. It's really exciting. I've been trying to recreate as much of my grandmother's methods and lifestyle as I can in this more modern world. It's been a long path, and I've had to, I don't know how to say that word, scythe?
Oh, is that like cutting grass?
Scythe, I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's hard. Like that's really hard work.
My way through some pretty thorny forests to be where I am. So it's amazing to have your stories and advice in my ears while I plant, harvest, preserve, and build my own wee homestead. I look forward to every vlog and podcast. Cheers.
That's so lovely. That's the dream, being able to be along with you guys in your gardens or on your chores, cleaning the house. Like there's nothing better than listening to a podcast when you're getting things done that are quite tedious, or even something that's enjoyable, and just being able to learn more, or just be a part of a conversation, I guess.
Yeah, that's where I like to listen to podcasts or in the car, but I love being out in the garden, listening to other people and know what they're up to in the garden. Makes you feel less alone when you're out there.
It is. And it is a very solitary kind of thing to do. So it's nice to have the voice in your ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is a new venture that we're going into. So one of the best ways that you can support our channel is to leave a review or a rating, engage with us on Instagram. We do post a lot of videos and reels, and sometimes we'll post questions as well for you guys to ask us things and hopefully be featured or have your question featured in future videos.
Yeah, we're probably most active on Instagram daily, kind of
so.
posting something, and we have all the highlights of our conversations over there. So if you want to catch just a little snippets of the podcasts, then definitely follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, but we are also starting a Buy Me a Coffee, and that's just if you want to support the channel even more. So just buying us a cup of tea every now and again, if you're really finding value from the conversation or you really enjoyed an episode, it just helps us to kind of see what you guys are really keen to listen more to, and what's been going really well.
Yeah. So I'll leave all the links in the description box if you would like to support and follow.
And the best thing about it is that it's not like a Patreon where you sign up for a monthly subscription or anything like that. It's just a once-off, like, thank you for the podcast or whatever else. And it's not necessary. It's just if that's something that you want to contribute to. It does help us to pay for gear. One day maybe a studio so that we're not...
Tea. We go through a lot of tea.
Yes.
So we're trying to, each time we come together, we're trying different teas and different tea blends.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Which some of them are from the garden. This is a blueberry, lemon, elderflower and honey tea, which is going to be yummy.
Yum.
You've got a Melbourne breakfast.
With some honey, your honey from here?
No, not our
No?
honey.
Oh, okay.
We ran through that pretty quickly.
Yeah, as you would.
We already have so many people like ordering honey from us, or family
can I
members
add to
wanting
that
more.
order?
I don't think we're going to have anything left.
Yeah.
That's okay. Honey is to share.
Yeah.
Makes the world sweeter.
It does.
But the reason we wanted to bring up our Buy Me a Coffee is because it has a lot to do with our topic for today. And that is running or beginning businesses from the homestead or the garden. And just our process of how we have started to monetize this lifestyle and also the different business ventures that we could potentially go down into the future.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this topic will really relate to a lot of people because I know a lot of, or our audience at least, have mentioned sometimes that they're interested in either starting a homestead or growing a garden, not just for themselves, but also to share or trade or sell to the public. And also starting a YouTube channel. I've had so many people ask, like, how do you do it? What's the process? What do you get out of it? Is it worth it? So we're going to delve into all those questions today and answer a few questions that we also got on Instagram too. Yeah.
Which is going to be so fun.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. And I think the best place that we can start is just let's talk about how our businesses have evolved over the years. So where did we start? What was our goal back then, and how has it kind of changed as things have actually become real and changed with time?
Yeah, well, I suppose we can start with the difference between a hobby and a business because my hobbies turned into a business.
That's really cool.
And there's that fine line of when do you do that? Because for tax purposes, it doesn't have to be for quite a while actually until you have to get to that threshold of starting to declare things that are more of a business expense versus just a hobby. So for me, my hobby has always been making videos and YouTube. I've actually been doing YouTube for way longer than people know because
you have a secret channel, don't you?
I had a secret channel. I've been making videos ever since maybe 2012 or so.
Everyone's just searching
because it's not on
Robyn's
there.
history.
I used to do things like makeup videos and grocery hauls and travel vlogs. I've always loved filming videos. So that was my kind of start of my hobby, really.
Yeah.
And then I think I found a lot of people like Roots and Refuge and a lot of the American homesteaders like Justin Rhodes. And I realized that they were actually monetizing their that lifestyle and had that idea. But I never really started doing the videos to monetize it. It was just a hobby to start.
But it becomes almost a necessary as you begin to grow, because making videos takes a lot of time. It takes planning, thinking, the time to not only film but then edit afterwards. And I think that's where it can sound quite daunting to some people, that there's just so many, and there's so many ways to create that it doesn't need to be daunting, but just the idea of scaling it into the future, I think, creates a bit of uncertainty.
Yeah. And that's, I think, for me, where it started to then turn into something that I was thinking, okay, well, I'm spending so much time on these videos now. It'd be nice to kind of be compensated for some of that time at least, or to buy new equipment. And I mean, I had absolutely nothing when I started. I had like a $100, $200 camera, which was really bad quality, but did the job and started out, and then gradually worked my way up to figuring out just a few really good quality equipment that I needed to do the videos at a better quality.
Yeah, so what do you think makes the biggest difference when starting out to create really quality videos? What did you learn pretty soon about what you actually needed?
Yeah, so I think I recommend to anyone who is thinking about starting a YouTube channel or doing anything with videography online is to have good audio. That's the main thing that I would recommend. And so that doesn't have to be expensive as well. It can just be like a $60 Rode little mic. You can find them everywhere online, and you can get different connections to your phone and then just use your phone as the camera. But I'd recommend good audio is a good place to start, and that's something I really tried to prioritize. Because people can get away with subpar footage, but in my opinion, having good audio is what you need.
I agree. That's a really good place to start, and I think that was one of the first things we invested in as well. But when we did start out making videos for the first time on YouTube, we were like you, using a phone. I even used my laptop for some of it while we waited for an action camera to come in, and so that was really interesting to not so much prioritize the footage but see that the audio made the biggest difference, because as soon as you're watching a video and the audio is crunchy or you can hardly hear someone, it really does make you want to switch off.
Because then you're adjusting the audio and it's just, I don't know, I want to watch a video. I want to watch a video and not have to turn the volume up and down and just, have it nice and plain and simple, which, is easy to do with a little microphone. So that's what I would recommend. But going back to kind of how we started, I started more as a hobby. What about you? Did you start making videos with this in mind? Was this the end goal? Or?
Yeah, well, I started making videos because I knew we wanted to move onto a homestead. And one thing that I felt was missing from, like, when I was watching homesteading videos, a lot of the time the homesteaders were already established, or they were people that came from farms or already had gardens and everything set up. And I really felt like there was a gap between the beginning stages and the moving onto the homestead part that I really wanted to fill. And it did start off with just being really experimental. Like, some of my earliest videos are just so cringy now when I think back on them. And it was just me trialing different things out, like figuring out what my editing style was, what kind of like little tweaks and things I wanted to add in. Like, I had a lot of really funny transitions where I would like click my fingers and something would happen, or I would jump and when I came down to the ground, I'd cut it to when I had like a broom or something in my hand.
Can we bring that back? That would be awesome.
It was really fun, and I think it was really valuable at that very beginning stage when our channel was small, and it's still small, but back then I think we'd be lucky if we got 2 or 3 views for a video. Like, it was very, very small. It was mainly just our friends and family, and it was nice and intimate. But it meant that I had that freedom to do whatever I wanted, and I could always hide it into the future if I didn't want it ever found.
Exactly.
But it gave me that chance to just be experimental, to try different things out, because I had no experience of really making videos for others to watch back then. It was all brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I wasn't like you where I created lots of videos in the past. I wish I had. But I did have media training as part of my university course. So I did have a bit of that knowledge and experience of working with Premiere Pro and also with cameras in general. But actually bringing a video together from start to finish was very different. So another reason that I started our channel was, like I said, because I knew that that was our goal into the future. I wanted to get all of like the learning curve things done early on. And then once we got to the homestead, back then we were planning on actually building a yurt.
Yep.
So I expected that.
I remember that. in
Yeah,
your
when we
videos.
would come up here, we would have land and we would just be building from the very beginning. And I knew that if that was going to be our business direction, that I didn't want shaky footage and to be learning while we were doing such a big project, which of course that didn't end up happening because circumstances changed. But yeah, I think it was really important to just be able to experiment. And then once we came up here, I felt like I was confident enough creating videos that I was proud of, and that I could share with the world. And that's really when our YouTube channel started to take off more, because it was relevant to what we wanted to share and do. And that was really encouraging.
Yeah. I suppose I still didn't start out thinking that it was going to be a business though. It was more so like to build a community as well. Like I really wanted some friends out of my YouTube channel, and thank goodness that I have that now. Like I've met you and so many other people around me, because I had no one else that I could connect to in my real life, everyday life, of people who liked gardening and homesteading and really understood that world. And it was just so crazy to come across it on YouTube and find that there were so many other people, like-minded people like that. And then wanted to make videos about it. But
I love that. See, we started differently, where we thought it would be a business in the future, and then discovered the community that you can build through that. And now I've just fallen in love with interacting with others. Like the first comments we used to get, it was so exciting and thrilling that, oh my goodness, there's someone else out there and they care and they want to connect. And yeah, it's so lovely to meet people that are like-minded, that care about the same things, and just have a wealth of knowledge and expertise to share as well.
So for anyone also in that position who is wanting to reach out and build a community as well, and thinking about starting a YouTube channel, it's really something that can open up that world. And that's also really important when you're starting a business, is to have other reasons just other than money to start the business. Like for us, or for me, it's a lifestyle that I also want. And the whole reason on why you start a business is really important. And for us, there's multiple reasons. One of them is to be, financially stable and have an income, but it's also, it's how I want to live my life, not always working towards that 9-to-5 job, but working from home and doing something that I absolutely love, that can connect me to people. I can be outside in the garden and sharing videos and working in kind of the education sphere of gardening. To have that, I don't know, love for what I do, which I really lost while I was doing research for quite a while.
Yeah, because you're working for someone else and you're working on things that almost feel like you're not getting anywhere in your own life. Like it's for someone else's purpose. And I mean, research is a really valuable job to have anyways, because you are contributing to something greater than yourself. But there's something about being able to connect with nature at home that something like a home business can really bring to light.
Yeah. And that's where I think there's so many opportunities for home businesses, and we are definitely moving that way with being at, when we started all working from home, I know a lot of people were starting to figure out, okay, I actually kind of like this, and can I do this more often and turn my home or my lifestyle into something that I can enjoy and earn an income from, and is something that I think we're both working towards.
I think we're both just moving away from this idea that you need to live to work until you get to the point where you retire, and then you can use all the money that you've earned and that extra time that you finally have to go and explore. Like, I don't want to wait until that point to live my life. I don't want to wait until that point to discover all the beauty in the world and to garden. I want to do it right now while I have energy and the motivation to go and explore new things and try out different things. And so I think that's where going back to that old lifestyle of homesteading and discovering a very slow lifestyle is so impactful. Yeah, and I've really enjoyed it too.
Yeah, and we're not ever saying like, you know, you should do this or not. Like if you want to do your 9 to 5 job and love it, like good on you, because
homesteading and gardening isn't for everyone.
Exactly, yeah, and we need all the jobs in the world that we have right now, or else it would fall apart. So, but I know there are a few people out there who are interested in this lifestyle and want to know a little bit more about the potential for creating businesses. So maybe we can talk about like how we've built it a little bit, what we've done to, or if we are making a stable income right now and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right now for you, how have you kind of moved and transitioned to say, okay, yep, this is now a business? What was the tipping point for you? Like, because I know you have to register the business, and that's a big thing that you do need to do if you want to start a business. Make sure that you do it properly and then register for tax and everything like that. When you registered, what point were you at with the YouTube channel?
I feel like we were still not technically considered a business when I started all that, but I think just any time, like as soon as we set up the donations for our channel, so on Buy Me a Coffee, and then we were very close to the monetization milestone on YouTube, that's when I felt like I needed to do it just in case. I'm a teacher, so I'm always thinking ahead and planning so that I'm not stressed when things happen or I don't miss out on things. But I would say, like right now, we're so small that we wouldn't be considered a business. This isn't a stable income. And the YouTube channel for us, it's more of a passion. It's something that we want to share and encourage others to live this lifestyle and to share our knowledge, mistakes, and to help people to learn and to move into that if that's something they want to do. But for us, our homestead is more so the business. And right
so
now
Diane and Samson is the
business. And then we want to be creating things here on our homestead that then become the income. So running workshops, having tours, having lessons, even having things like setting up a painting area and just having people over for some tea and cake and just to paint the landscape or the animals and gardens around. I think I just want to create a business based on community of bringing people together and sharing nature. And so that's the direction that I hope we will go into in the future. But of course, life and everything else can get in the way of that. We still have to work full time. Well, I have to work full time to be able to support that. Alongside of actually creating the videos and putting in the time to organize workshops and having things in place on the homestead to be able to support more people safely. Because right now we have slopes and wet grass everywhere that people can slip on, and it's not really a environment where you can bring others in, but it's something that we're working towards, and that's the goal for us.
Okay.
And what about yourself?
Yeah, well, I think I started because I kind of considered it more a hobby even when I was started being monetized. But at the start of this year, I kind of changed it into a business and started to...
So this year is when...
Yeah, at the start of this year. Wow. Yeah, because I was starting to actually then buy things for the business, and then for tax purposes, that's important because then you can... work out your expenses versus your income and then work out your tax purposes. But I knew at the start of this year that I needed a break from research. So I've really needed, I need about a year or so. I've said that I really want a break because it was just getting quite an emotional toll on me to do the research, the type of research I was doing, and also just it's very, very demanding, and I needed a break for my mental health, basically. So YouTube really helped kind of save me in that sphere of coming out of a little bit of a darker place to make videos that I loved and have such an amazing community online. But at the start of the year, I thought, okay, well, maybe next year, so in 2023, I can use that year to really focus and build the income and the business side of things.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to be really interested in following along on how that goes for you, because I think that just by dedicating more of yourself and your time to what you're building at home is going to have a really big impact on not only your lifestyle and your mental health, but also on your business too, because you're giving it the time that it needs. Any business needs a lot of time to nurture it and to grow it. And when your attention and your time is kind of split between a lot of things, it's so hard to feel focused and just keep growing.
Yeah, because a business, the one that you're running yourself solely by yourself, which is what I'm doing, and we've both, well, I've registered as a sole trader as well. It's not a company yet, but we'll see maybe in the future. But we also still do have Scott working full time, so that's a stable income if we need. But I'm now supporting myself from my business and what is under that. And actually, YouTube is one of the least high incomes that comes in with the business. It's relatively low compared to a lot of the other things. So what I'm really trying to do is just diversify my income. So I do a little bit of casual work, but it's as a subcontractor now under my business, where I'll do like bush regeneration and work in people's gardens and things like that, write articles online, do the YouTube, and now the flower farm as well, which is kind of a separate business. So I've had to separate it a little bit from the YouTube and the nature patch.
Okay.
It's very complicated, but...
So does that mean you have to register 2 different businesses?
Yeah,
Wow.
so I think you can still do it under the same ABN, but because they're 2 very different things and the expenses are so different, I've really had to split it up in my spreadsheets and everything so that I know if either of them are viable or not, because when they're together, it looks like, I'm earning income and whatever. But if you separated them, I'm earning nothing from the flower farm now.
There's a loss, I bet.
Yeah, a major loss. But without the YouTube and everything like that, I wouldn't have been able to do the flower farm. So that's supporting starting that up right now. Thankfully, I don't have to dip into savings or anything. I can just use like all the capital from the nature patch to fund that. And that's such like a mindset I never thought I'd be in, because I'm not naturally a businesswoman.
Yeah.
I'm more like frugal and I don't like to spend things to make money. But with YouTube and flower farming, you really have to do that and invest in good quality equipment and farming. Yeah.
Because, I mean, even with YouTube channels, like people want to watch you progress and grow and do things differently and trial different methods out. And if you're doing a lot of the same things, I think that at some point it becomes a bit stagnant, or it becomes a bit like, okay, well, I've already seen a lot of this. Like, what else is new and out there? And so I think just naturally you need to be bringing more things onto the plate, and that costs money.
It does. Yeah. Do you kind of know, like on average, how much you might have invested into like equipment? Yeah.
Even just beginning with, I remember us buying our first camera and our microphone. We invested in the Osmo Action 3 back then. And I think with the microphone and the whole like vlogging kit setup, it was $800. And that was massive for us, especially with... We didn't know if we wanted to invest all our time into YouTube yet. We didn't know whether we would enjoy making videos and whether the lifestyle would work out for us. And thank God it has. Like, that's a thing that we always thought that this would be a good life for us to live, and it has become that. And so the videos just come naturally because we are sharing something we love doing. But then we invested in a new camera not long after that, once we came here, because the Osmo just didn't do enough for us. And so that was another, I want to say like a bit over $1,000. It was like $1,300. And so that's already almost $2,000 into something that hasn't even begun earning income yet. And like, that's a lot to think about. And we're homesteading. So part of our business and the lifestyle is to constantly be building structures, to buy fencing to protect animals, to purchase the animals to begin with, all their feed, seeds for the gardens. We were really resourceful and frugal. So we used a lot of building materials we had naturally. Whenever we had to thin out our forest or clear out trees on a driveway where they grew where they shouldn't be, we use that wood to then put back into our gardens. And I think that was really beautiful to be able to use that resource, but it also cut us a lot of costs, and that was really important early on. But as far as like income compared to loss, like our YouTube channel is probably, as a business, at like negative 3,000, 4,000 if you really think about it that way. But to us, it is still something that has brought us so much joy and so much wealth in so many other ways than money.
Yeah.
And that's
where I think we're a little bit different in the businesses that we've chosen to go by, because it's not just about the income. It's also about making it so it's a really sustainable lifestyle.
Yes.
And that's where I'm also kind of in the same boat, where I haven't made like a lot of money yet, from the YouTube side of things, particularly because cameras do cost a lot of money. Like I think we just upgraded one to, I think it was about $1,000 or so. It's a Sony ZV-1 and it's a great camera. Like I definitely recommend if you're interested in vlogging. But then the microphones and the software. Thankfully, I also have Scott, who had a lot of experience with Adobe Premiere Pro as well. So really, really great software if you have just a little bit of background knowledge on how to use it.
And it's easy enough to learn if you don't. There's so many great YouTube videos out there. If you're just wanting to learn a new skill, like how to crop a video so that it's got like those cinematic black lines, you just search that up on YouTube or Google and there'll be someone that is teaching you how to do that.
Yeah. So you don't need a background in, like I am absolutely not tech savvy at all and still manage to edit the videos. And it takes me a little bit longer to edit them and go through them. But yeah, you don't need a background in that. But it's a great kind of career path because you do then learn all of these skills and you can apply them elsewhere. Like if you know how to make videos, then you can do that for other people and have that as an income as well as all of the gardening and homesteading things that you're doing.
Yeah. So speaking of business, I'm sure we'll be kind of going on tangents here and there. But right now you mentioned that you are building out your flower farm business. So what are some of the things that have kind of prevented you from moving forward in those goals? Is it as you had expected it to be, or are you facing more challenges than you were probably prepared for? Like, how is it going having your flower farm business at the beginning stages now?
Well, yeah, I am kind of struggling with the flower farm at the moment. Like I do discuss in my videos that how hard it's been to set it up with all of this rain, but I've tried to do it really on manageable income. Like I haven't spent that much money. I actually went into a video on everything that I have spent so far on my channel. It was about like $1,500, I think, which is pretty good for all of the seeds, the compost, the mulch, like everything like that. So the income side of things, it hasn't been too expensive to set up. It's just been very it's been very laborious to spend all the time to make all of the garden beds and things like that. And that's time that I'm also not being paid for. So your time is valuable. And eventually I would like to get to the point where I can pay myself per hour kind of thing. But for now, I'm envisioning that the rest of this year I'm not going to be making anything really from it. It's just about planning for next year. So next year I would really love to have a little market stall where I can not only sell the flowers but other things like
That's beautiful.
Yeah, like bath products and calendula balm and things that I make at home that bring me so much joy and that I personally love, because I really realized how important it is for me to prioritize those little things in my life that bring me happiness. And I want that for my life. Like I want to be greedy and take the things that I really love and make it into a lifestyle that I love.
That's beautiful.
Because I've just seen what can happen to people who don't do that and do the whole thing about like working to earn money and then only being able to live their life outside those work hours and just being really, really depressed and sad. And it's just so debilitating and can cause a lot of like physical health issues as well, which I myself even was starting to notice. My body was just starting to like breakdown from the stress, really, like just getting eczema and just chronic like fatigue, just really, really tired all the time. And I want to be outside more to energize myself. And that's just what my body was telling me to do, and telling me that this is what you really need right now, or else you're going to be really, really unhealthy. So,
yeah. And the problem with like the standard way that people earn wages is that there's almost like a ladder to climb, and you might be thinking that the goal monetarily is to earn that much money, but then once you reach it, naturally you want to progress to the next level and the next level and the next level. And that's kind of like just the system and the economy that life has been built towards, like in the more recent few years. And yeah, I think stepping away from that and just being like, okay, this is what I actually need to support myself, to support my rent, my mortgage, the bills that I need to pay. And however you can bring that down, the better for you, because then you can enjoy life as opposed to just feeling like you have to work and reach that next milestone.
Yeah. But I mean, you do have to be realistic and still be able to have an income. And we're very privileged in the fact that we, you know, have beautiful houses, and like you're also working full time as well. It would be really difficult to start out like from scratch without working and then go down the YouTube career path and expect that you're going to be then earning money, because a lot of people don't know, but it's really not that much per 1,000 views or whatever of the money that you get from YouTube. So it's nothing that I would say you should be relying on if you want to start a YouTube channel. You need the other things to cling on to rather than the monetization, because you'll get very, very depressed very quickly about it.
It takes a long time to reach that milestone too of monetization. Do you remember how long it took you to get monetized?
I was trying to remember, but it took at least 1.5 years, I think.
Yeah, I think it took around the same amount of time for us as well.
Yeah, because you need 100 subscribers, no, 1,000 subscribers. This is current, and 4,000 watch hours, and that's the really hard thing to get.
The hours.
Yeah. So I only got that because a few of my videos started to do really well, and without those videos kind of going off in the algorithm, that weird thing that I have no idea about sometimes, it would have been really difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is a slog, and that's where it's important to first of all enjoy the lifestyle and what you're passionately sharing about, as opposed to just working towards that monetary goal, because it's going to take you a while. And even as soon as you're monetized, that doesn't mean you're making hundreds of dollars or anything. You're literally making pennies at the beginning.
Yep. Yeah, it's enough to maybe buy you a cup of coffee a week or something
but
like
hey,
that.
It's a great cup of coffee.
Exactly. And for me, it actually did really change my mindset though, because I could start to see, even though it was like, I think the first day it was like 77 cents or something like that. I still remember the first day. And I was just like, wow, this is actually really cool. And if I do put a lot more effort into this, like I can grow that from 77 cents to like $7.77.
And then one day maybe $77.
Exactly. And that really changes your mindset about like, oh, this is really cool. I can make this into something. But I definitely knew that I needed to add things to it. And YouTube isn't like the monetization that you get from videos, which all comes from ads, by the way. If you're not familiar with YouTube, it's from the ad revenue. So watching ads is really helpful, or getting YouTube Premium, I think that's what it's called, is really great. But there's so many other opportunities that you can use YouTube for as a business. So for me, it's going to be advertising for when I start my little shop online, and also getting sponsorships. That's a really great option, and is something that I'm very particular about if I would ever take a sponsorship or take a gift.
Yeah, you want to work with companies that you actually believe in and enjoy and have read up on, because like the last thing you want to do is to be talking about a company you don't know at all or don't have experience with, because that can probably bite you in the butt.
Yeah, which is why you probably won't see a lot on my channel, because I would only ever work with people and companies that I really trust and like their values and things like that. So there's only a few small companies that I'll work with.
And that's not to say that you're not getting companies emailing you and offering either, because that's nonstop.
Yeah. Yeah, I get a lot of random emails all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do as well.
Spam.
Yeah.
Is this person real? I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of offering things, just like random products. And
I've had a lot of like video game people.
Okay, I haven't had that.
Yeah, or really like random things. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with what we're putting out there. Like,
Interesting.
I don't understand why that would ever be a partnership that we would go into.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't make sense. Like, there was someone that was like, oh, can you advertise our like mouse, like computer mouse? I'm like, why?
Interesting. Yeah.
And I mean, there's people out there that would jump on that because it's monetizing in some way, if that's a real business that wants to work with you. But it just, it's kind of, I think it sours the experience, because then you are just doing it for income. You're not really valuing your community and what you're building as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing that we're doing on our homestead, so as I said, we have our YouTube channel, which, similar to you, is more for advertising the lifestyle. It's for sharing what we're learning, and it's kind of like the behind the scenes of the business.
Yeah.
It's also really good for like marketing what we're doing.
That's a big thing. Marketing.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's social media at the end of the day. It's a way to connect with others that are like-minded. It's a way to just share a message or inspiration or knowledge that you're learning. But as a business, it's not very sustainable into the future. And it might be with really big channels and as you grow, but at the beginning stages, it's just not.
Yeah.
So we are trying to, now that we're comfortable in the lifestyle and what we're doing, we're trying to find where we want to go next.
Okay.
And we have lots of really big ideas of how we can create a profit and become sustainable on our homestead. So I mentioned before, running workshops is something that we really passionately want to do. Whether that's like chicken butchering workshops, how to have bees on your homestead, how to integrate animals and gardens together, even just community days coming together, putting on a barbecue.
Cool.
And the income from that might just be enough to pay for all the food and the equipment that you use. But to us, that's really valuable. It's just being able to create those experiences for ourselves and others. And that's where we want our income to be going, as opposed to just creating more and more savings and more wealth into the future.
Yeah.
But we've had a lot of things that have kind of set us back, especially this year. So we had a really great, successful year with homesteading last year, where we raised our own meat chickens, our own pigs, and our gardens. And that was really incredible. But this year, we wanted to expand on that and have even more chickens. Your breathing, Kobe, is so distracting in the back here. Cover you up.
A bit of a dove snoring.
For those watching the YouTube video, you might notice the sleepy dogs behind us, and we're just being cautious that their breathing noises aren't coming through the mic, because they're definitely coming into our ears.
Yeah.
But they're sweet. It's lovely to have guests that are calm.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, so this year when we started our meat chickens, we wanted to expand on that, because we wanted to test out the business side of things, of having the workshop to run on our property. But what ended up happening, and this is through no fault of our own, is that the predator pressure this year is just so much higher. So we've actually had a falcon attack our birds several times in the system that we had. And I think a fox attack or weather related things as well. And so we've lost half of our flock. And when you're running a workshop, like, you need a flock of chickens, and you want to be able to talk about the success rather than just showing this like really awful, like, we've lost half of our birds and we've had to change our system completely this year. And so it almost feel like we're back to learning, as opposed to feeling like we're at the stage where we can go and teach or show what's happening.
Yeah.
So that's been really disheartening, because I just feel like we set a goal and we thought we were getting to that next stage, and our business just isn't there yet. And so that's really upsetting. And that's just part of starting something new, that you're going to have success and you're going to have things that go really well, but some ventures are just naturally harder to find success from.
But you will have so much insight into when you do the workshops next year or the year after about predator protection and all of what you've learned. So really you're just kind of making what would be the workshop and even more stronger and informative. Yeah,
that's true, because like this year we have changed the system, so we've got more of like a chicken tractor setup, and that's to protect from the falcon, because I see that falcon every morning. It comes back, I hear its cry, and it's just sitting on that coop on the tractor that we've built for them, just like waiting for a chicken to come out. It's ridiculous how many times it's actually come back. But yeah, you're right, like that's going to be really valuable information. But for this year, like turning that into a workshop, it's completely turned us off, because we just feel like failures this year. And it's so upsetting, because we really were hopeful that this was the next step. Like Sam and I have shifted to where I'm working full time to support like the income for our rent and everything. And he's more at home supporting like the building project and moving the homestead forward and that business forward. And it's almost like we took one step forward and now we've taken 2 steps back. And sometimes it can be that way when you're starting a new business.
That's definitely the reality of a business. If you're not putting like all your time and effort into it, I mean, particularly because you're still working full time. Like if you were here though, do you think you'd have those problems still, or?
We still might, because some of it is out of our control.
Yeah.
I mean, even our sheep as well. We thought that this would be the year to expand that and take that next step forward. So we introduced all these new ewes. They had some babies and we were like, oh my gosh, we've gone from a flock of 2 to 7. And the little lambs are that potential of being able to sell them to the community, to be able to feed ourselves as well. Like there's just a lot of steps forward with that. Even being able to offer their services to like mow someone's lawn, you know, like that's all of the steps forward that we could take with that aspect of our business. But of course, life doesn't work perfectly for you every time. And we ended up with a flock of sheep, which were half wild. And so the ewes that we got actually ran back to their flock. And now that felt like more of a problem occurring every single day, them escaping and trying to get out and having to walk them up the hill, that turned from being a really great idea and a step forward in the business to actually bringing us back quite a bit and really creating a lot of doubt in ourselves and problems occurring, and just it takes away from the happiness of the lifestyle. It creates more things to fix, and then you can't step forward in other ways. So I think with any business you need to expect that there will be problems that will happen, whether it's rain and weather related,
Definitely,
or whether it's animals escaping. And I wonder if that's just the nature of our businesses, like that they're not so straightforward, like creating a product that you sell and that's it.
Yeah, I think definitely like starting a business in the homesteading and gardening sphere, you're at the element of all of nature and everything that.
Which is beautiful in a way, but.
It is, but it's just not reliable. And you really have to have that flexibility when you're starting it. And that's why I think diversifying an income is really important. So having all those like wonderful ideas that you had with the workshops, and because you still could do some of those like an online workshop even as well. There's so many different options, and it takes conversations like this or talking to your partner, having someone else to bounce ideas off is really important, and something that like Scott's great and I love having conversations with him, but he has his own life and he has his own hobbies. So I love like having conversations with you and other people about it. So if you are like feeling stuck, just have a chat with someone and bounce ideas off, like see what other people would want to buy or learn about. Yeah.
So knowing what you have kind of experienced in this first like beginning stages of your flower farm, knowing what your goals are for the future, but also having that more realistic mindset of what's been going on, where do you see your goals for your business into the future? Like if everything goes right and everything goes well, how are you going to diversify your income, or where is the business going to go?
Yeah. Well, I would really like to put a lot more effort into the flower farm. So this year has been the setup phase and investing in everything that I need, which I now have, and I'm learning how to grow things and what grows well here. But next year, I would really like to start having something like a weekly or fortnightly income from the flower farm. So that's going to look like having a little market stall or tapping into the wedding industry around us, because we live in an area that is really known for weddings, and a lot of people come down from Sydney and Canberra and get married on the coast. So
Beautiful.
I would, love to grow some flowers that are targeted towards that, so that I can be a supplier if anyone needs any fresh flowers, and really tap into that local and fresh flower market, because for me, that's really important, to buy local flowers.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of other people are looking for that, but there's just not a lot of that around. So it'll definitely be selling the flowers however I can, but also having an online store. So I'd like to have like different bath products and calendula balm, and this is all going to hopefully be where the bulk of my income is coming from. So like ideally I would love my target is something around anywhere between $500 and $1,000 a week. I would like to be earning.
Wow, that's a lot.
No, sorry, $500 a week is my target.
Yeah.
Because then $1,000 a fortnight is something that is really comfortable for me, for me personally, and the bills that I have. And then any more would be great to then invest in the business.
Future home,
Yeah,
land.
exactly. Yeah. And then the YouTube side of things, I would really love to keep expanding the channel and grow the channel to be able to hopefully get someone to work with. Would be really great to have someone who can either edit or just bounce ideas off and have a kind of like a creative few hours in the week, which is something I would really like. But yeah, all up, that probably wouldn't be the majority of the income.
Yeah.
More so as like a marketing area, and to have supplementary income to then fund the flower farm, and then do online work as well. So writing articles and blog posts.
Which you've
and
already
things
begun,
like
which
that.
is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the like little sprinkle of things that I would like to be working on. And I really do want to take it seriously. So I do need to spend the rest of the year to invest the money so that next year I'm set up to actually be able to earn the income. So that's things like buying everything that I need for a market stall. Getting insurance is a really big thing if you want to kind of start a regular market stall, just in case something goes wrong. And I think you can look into, there's a type of insurance that is specifically for market stalls. And also, if you are setting a business up at home, all the other things that you need to worry about, like insurance is a massive thing if you're having like people coming onto your property, and if that's something that you think is super important. Otherwise, you can do different waivers and things like that to write it up. But for me personally, I've said to myself that just because of our property, and it's quite small, and I don't want people coming there. So I will not have people coming. I will be selling my flowers elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that's just easier, and also respectful for all of our neighbours as well, because
well, you are in a
we are in
suburban setting.
Yeah.
There's houses around you, while we have a lot of openness around us, but
definitely.
still need to consider the fact that there'll be cars coming over and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, the goal is to be able to one day have a business that is kind of similar to Roots and Refuge. Like, I love her structure of how she has so much different things going on, but it's still working towards building a community and growing food, and it'll be growing flowers for me. I would love to just have a property where I can do that and just like build a community that I can work with as well.
Yeah,
Because I would just love to have a few other people with the nature patch to bounce ideas off. That'd be really fun.
The goals, the
Yeah.
future.
The future, one day. Yeah.
Yeah. So
What
we
about
did
you?
have. Oh yes. Sorry.
Sorry. I want to know like what are just a wrap up of what your kind of end goal is.
Into the future.
Yeah.
So I really, this next year, as we begin building the bus,
Yeah.
I really want to get to a point where both Sam and I are able to earn an income, or at least be at home and sustaining ourselves financially with small casual things, rather than both having to work full time or having to be at the whim of someone else. Like, we want to work for ourselves. So this next year, I think I want to focus more on that, getting to a point where we can have workshops and making sure we've got all of the legal things in place, making sure the property is safe enough for that. Perhaps having a market stall could be fun. I keep wanting to do something where I can create art or create macrame pieces and be able to sell them alongside produce or even our own honey. But with that comes scaling everything. And so just finding a way to scale the business sustainably without putting more pressure on ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be investing more time into the growing vegetable side of things, as well as creating things and giving the time to that, as opposed to introducing more and more animals, because we have noticed that the animal side of things can be a bit more complicated because you're working with living things. But I think the biggest goal that we've had from this lifestyle and our business is just being able to grow our own food and sustain our income in that way.
True.
So instead of having to go work an extra day, we're able to just pay for our food just with our own time and effort. And that's
a
been really
massive
big.
thing.
Yeah,
That can really reduce your income, particularly with you kind of growing your own or raising meat as well. And all of the veggies that you grow can really save you a lot of money.
Yeah, I think we have maybe halved our grocery bills. And so that's where thinking of income more as I can pay for these things, rather than having to go and earn money to then go and spend that at the shops, I think has been a big game changer for us this year. Yeah. So we did have a few extra little questions about YouTube specifically. We've answered most of them as for gear that we use, editing software that we use. There was one more question, and then we can wrap things up. So one more question that we had was how many views you need before you earn money. And I guess we have kind of answered that in a way as well, with there isn't a specific number to it. It's more so that once you hit those milestones on YouTube with the 4,000 hours and then the 1,000 subscribers, that's when you get monetized. But that doesn't guarantee that you're going to have a sustainable income. And a lot of the time it's quite low. I think we talked about our CPMs and RPMs, which is how YouTube pays you through AdSense. And so I have videos where the the CPM, so what YouTube gets per 1,000 views, is $17. And then we are supposed to get $7 per 1,000 views, but what we actually see is a lot lower than that. And that's something to be mindful of.
Yeah. Having a basic understanding of how AdSense works is probably good, because it's a little disheartening when you actually get paid how much less you think you're going to get. Yeah. So currently, I'm having a look at my analytics, about between 15 and 16,000 views a month. Yeah, that's about right. And I'm getting between around $200 and $300 a month.
For that.
Yeah.
That's really great. That's a really nice income.
Yeah.
And you have 6,000 and something subscribers?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 6,600.
And how many videos do you have on your channel? Because I think this makes a really big impact, that the reason the big YouTubers have a lot of success and income from their channels is because they've been on the platform for 8 to 10 years. And so they have a huge library of just videos that people can access at any point. And with YouTube, those videos continue to make money as they get views. And that all contributes to your monthly income from that.
Yeah. I don't actually know how many I have, but I have a few hundred, I think, or maybe about 200. Let me just have a look.
So while you're looking that up, we're getting about a month. We are getting about 23,000 views because we have a lot of shorts. So I would say at least like 13,000 of that
Yep.
is shorts, which don't create a lot of income at all. They just kind of get your video viewed, and we're only getting $58 a month.
Yeah.
So massive difference in
definitely.
views compared to money.
Yeah.
Because your views, you said, was between like 15,000 and something.
Yeah, about 50.
Because you don't do shorts.
No, I don't have any shorts on my channel.
But your income is 4 times as much. So you can see how views to the monetization, like the money part of things, is so different and is so varied that you can't just say, okay, if you get 20,000 views, you're going to get $200. It's just not that.
Yeah, you can't like calculate it really when you start getting views. It's got to be up to YouTube, which is unfortunate, but yeah. And there's a few things that you can do to increase your views, like thumbnails, having great thumbnails, or eye-catching titles, eye-catching thumbnails and good titles. And also just consistency is the main thing. Like one video a week is more than enough, but just make sure you do it every week, and then you'll definitely absolutely grow.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I wonder if your CPM is a lot higher or your RPM is coming back higher. Oh no, it's I reckon it's the shorts, hey. Because that's a huge difference between views to
It is.
income.
Yeah,
Very
RPM is really weird.
It is. So yeah.
Super weird. So super interesting. But
we could go into it forever, couldn't we? But
but it was a little bit more of a specific topic, this one. But I hope it kind of, we shared a little bit more about what it's like to have a YouTube channel if you're interested in starting. And we don't want to like be disheartening to you all if you do want to start.
It's been so fun.
Yeah, because there's so much more than just the money side that it brings. And it is a great way to start a business alongside other things.
Yeah. If you guys ever want us to cover more about like the business side of what we're doing or our goals into the future, if there's anything that you kind of were hoping we will go further into that maybe we didn't, please leave us a comment. Let us know so that we can do more of this into the future, along with all our other videos on just gardening and things that we're doing around.
Yeah, and we'd love to know if you are starting a small business or you're at home or you have a garden/homesteading business. I'd love to hear all of your stories on that over on our Instagram page. It's probably the best way. We'll do a post over there asking that question. Hopefully we can maybe share some tips and advice that we all have for it.
Instagram is a really great way to market a business as well. So on that post and even this video on YouTube, drop a link to your own business or give us the name of it, because I'm not sure if YouTube lets you drop links. I don't think it does.
Sometimes it hides those comments.
Yeah, so just write out your business name. If you're on Instagram, you can tag your business just so that we can see what you guys are up to, how you're growing your own income from home, just to give others an idea of the way that you can move forward as well, because there's so many different ways.
Yeah, and if we can support your small business as well, we'd love to check it out.
We would love that. Please go check out our Buy Me a Coffee. We're going to try post weekly a bit of a background of what we're talking about in our videos, so you can get a bit of a behind the scenes before the new video comes out. And we might share some other things there as well. But it's just a really lovely way to contribute a little bit more if you like. Otherwise, leaving a rating, a review, or even a like means the world.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for listening or watching on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And till next time, we'll see you later.
See you.